to Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's
Today Around Kansas
dream.
starts with a tour of Decatur County's last Indian Raid Museum in Oberlin, with more than a dozen buildings and thousands of artifacts to tell the story. Now let's see who has won the 24th annual We Can Awards this year, and then enjoy a poem from Ron Wilson. We'll end with the immigration of Volga Germans to Kansas and the beautiful churches they built here. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment is brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, just a short drive down the Yellow Brick Road. Good morning, I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And this is Around Kansas, the show that tells you about a lot of people, places, and things that are great to visit in our great state of Kansas.
And it must be Wednesday again.
It is.
Thank you.
Early
Thank
in the
you.
morning Wednesday.
Thank you.
Unless
Thank
you're
you.
watching us online, and then it could be midnight.
Or anywhere in the world.
That's right.
Yeah,
So,
you may not be in Kansas.
yeah.
Do
And
you
we
ever-
do. You know, our audience is continuing to grow, and we really thank you for that.
We do. We really appreciate it. And every now and then you can tell where people watch from online or something, or we'll get some message. And yeah, people, of course, you know, some people have moved away, live somewhere else. They are originally from Kansas, or maybe were here in the military for a while, and so they're interested for that reason in another state. But sometimes we get people that just think we do cool stuff, and they really don't know anything about Kansas,
Yeah.
but they watch the show. I think my sister probably invited most of them. Look, you got to see this. You won't believe it, but
Well, and we also hope that, people that are maybe on the East Coast or West Coast and they're going to travel,
Yeah.
Especially driving or whatever, and they say, around Kansas, well, what's that all about? And maybe we can get them to say, hey, that sounds like a neat place. I'd like to stop there.
I agree. I think that would be awesome. Y'all come. We'd love to have you. We'd
Yeah.
love to have you in Kansas.
Yeah, and of course, we don't have her accent. She's not originally from here, but we love her now.
No, people want me to wear a sign that says, people in Kansas don't talk like this. And I need a translator sometimes.
But there is a Western Kansas accent. And I know when I first started in
there is.
broadcast, I really was trained to get rid of the Kansas A. Because there's a Kansas A, believe it or not. I'm not trying to be smart.
You're right.
But there's a
Yeah.
Kansas A, and you had to get rid of that. And also, one of the words on there was W-A-S-H. How do you pronounce it?
I say wash.
And well,
But
I
some
say
people-
wash now, but I grew up saying wash.
And a lot of people where I grew up do say wash and
Yeah.
put that R in there.
And that's part of how
Do you
we
know
speak
the,
out here.
the words that hang me up are like whale and spale and
And what?
spell
Spale.
like spell it, spell that word.
Okay.
So that's the ones that I have some trouble with. Hey,
Okay.
can you spell Linden? Yeah, speaking of spell.
L-Y-N-D-O-N, Linden,
Very
Kansas.
good, very good. And they got the car show coming up this weekend.
Yeah, the car show in Linden, and there are a lot of car shows in this state for some reason. This is kind of a jump over to there, but you do know that the NHRA drag racing, that really started in Kansas.
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, it did.
I mean-
and sometime we'll do a story on that.
I knew that, of course, NASCAR started back home where I grew up. People,
Well, yeah, the bootleggers.
yeah, bootleggers running White Lightning.
Thunder Road.
Yeah, and all that stuff. But I didn't know NHRA started out here.
Yeah.
I guess if you got a flat, straight road, that makes sense as opposed to all the curves back home, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It all makes sense.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Lecompton. The name was splashed across newspapers throughout America and Europe. It was debated in the halls of Congress. Lecompton interprets its unique territorial history with 2 museums and other sites. Events throughout the year celebrate history and community.
The 160th anniversary of the Battle of Fort Titus, June 18th, 2 p.m. Reenactors welcome. Call 785-887-6148 for more information.
Spend the day in historic Lecompton, shopping, eating, savoring the rich history.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life. Back again.
Well, I told you last week that I'd gone up to Oberlin to visit with my friend Charlene Worm. So the last Indian Raid Museum, we talked about how great it was, and that's what the segment is about. But I want to tell you what's going on there. And as we have been talking about this wet spring, they had a deluge there a few weeks ago, had a lot of roof damage to one of the buildings. Now, they've got almost 20 buildings on this property. You can't believe how extensive this museum is. But one of the buildings did have a lot of roof damage, and they're in the process. When I was up there a couple of weeks ago, they were busy putting on the new roof, but you can imagine what kind of mess that makes. I don't think they had any artifacts damage because some gal came in and they found it as the water was, coming through, and they got things covered up and out of the way. But you've got, the insulation out of the ceilings. I mean, it's a mess. It's a real mess. So it's a big, expensive job to fix. So if you can help out the Decatur County Last Indian Raid Museum and their expenses in repairing this ceiling and the roof, that would be very, very nice. So go up and take a look, and then drop a little something in the collection jar when you're there.
Sounds good.
All right, let's take a look at this great museum. Following the Civil War, America moved west, by the hundreds, by the thousands. Decatur County's rolling grazing land and lush bottoms lured rancher and farmer alike to make a life in the northwestern reaches of Kansas. It was an important stop on the Great Western Cattle Trail, which saw thousands of longhorns driven from Texas to northern railheads and markets. The area grabbed the nation's headlines in 1878 when a band of Cheyenne left their reservation and headed home to the Black Hills, raiding farms and homesteads in their path, leaving death and destruction in their wake. Decatur County's Last Indian Raid Museum in Oberlin celebrates the pioneering heritage of its community while interpreting one of the most historic events on the Great Plains. More than a dozen buildings with thousands of artifacts tell the stories of men and women who built schools and railroads, soddies and silos, grocery stores and churches. Their clothes, their tools, their transportation, their photographs all combine to tell the remarkable story of forging the bonds of community. For the tourist, the museum is a fascinating glimpse into the story of pioneering America. For folks who come home to visit from far-flung cities, the displays offer a way to reconnect to the land and to loved ones long gone. Photos of high school classes line the walls of the alumni room, faces that are forever young. Situated at the intersection of scenic highways 36 and 83, Oberlin is the place where friends have met on brick streets for generations. The museum is one of those locations that gives friends a reason and a place to come together once more to reminisce or learn something new. Follow the brick streets of Oberlin to Decatur County's Last Indian Raid Museum and meet your friends there.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the Plains, we would like to join your management team.
Buffalo Bill Cody earned his legendary title in Oakley. Bring the family and come celebrate Oakley's pioneering history and unique geography at two sites, the Buffalo Bill Cultural Center and the Fick Fossil Museum. Cody's statue marks his achievements and welcomes visitors to the Cultural Center. The Fick Fossil Museum houses world-class fossils and artifacts. You'll find Oakley at the hub of U.S. Highways 83 and 40 and I-70. Stop for the legend. Stay for the day. Discover Oakley. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org. It's Wednesday, right? Yes, it is, because we're here. Thanks for watching us. Anyway, we have kind of a cool story here. It's not a long story at all, but it's really more of one that honors a lot of Kansans that are volunteers and do a lot of good work.
This is what I love most about Kansas. And the We Can Awards with the Kansas Sampler Foundation, you know, God bless Marcy Penner, and we've mentioned her many times, but we could talk about her every week. It wouldn't be enough to highlight, you know, this is what makes Kansas such a great state. People do stuff. They just do it. They don't wait for, you know, a sunny day. They don't wait for a program to, you know, come from Washington or somewhere to say this is what we're going to do. They don't wait. They just do it. They see stuff that needs to get done, and they just do it.
Well, and that's why it's We Can with a
yes.
K. Not We Can, but
Yeah.
We Can.
That was brilliant marketing, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes. It was. Well, and of course, what we're really talking about is, because, you know, Marcy has for years produced the Kansas Sampler Festival all around the state, and she can't do it by herself. It really takes a lot of people stepping up to volunteer to make everything happen. I mean, put it together. It's a huge undertaking.
It is, and what the festival itself promotes, of course, and the We Can Awards, is that there are people doing things all over the state all the time. And, you know, that was the idea behind the festival to begin with, is people need to know about the cool stuff that people are always doing.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that the We Can Awards do. And so I think it's just so important, and we're just so pleased to have the opportunity to share those people with you today. And, you know, you're going to love seeing the segment, but go see them. You know, that's what it's all about. Go see these folks. You know, it's not good enough to just say, oh, that's great, but go see them and see what they're doing and see what they're working so hard to make happen in their rural communities. So that's what we want you to do. That's your call to action today.
Yeah, so congratulations to all the We Can Award winners.
Absolutely.
The 24th Annual We Can Awards were announced May 7th, 2016, at the Kansas Sampler Festival in Winfield. The awards are presented by the Kansas Sampler Foundation as appreciation for dedicated work in helping preserve and sustain rural culture. Foundation Director Marcy Penner said, "Each year it is our pleasure to recognize 10 people who do a great deal to keep our state moving forward." The 2016 award winners are Jane Brophy, cheering for Chanute Area Chamber of Commerce and Office of Tourism; Sherry Butler, passion for the grassland, Cimarron National Grassland, Elkhart; Sarah Green, Doing Democracy, Wichita; Bridget Job, Seeking the Big Picture, Kansas City, Kansas Convention and Visitors Bureau; Liz King, Design Generosity, Park City, Utah; Ken and Shirley McClintock, Making History Delicious, Trail Days Cafe and Museum in Council Grove; Larry and Jan Olson, Stumpin' for RV Parks and Campgrounds, Kansas RV Parks and Travel, Hill City; Sue Stringer, Taunton, Kansas, KDWPT, Kansas Byways and Agritourism, Topeka; Andrea Springer and Steve Snook, Good Thinkers for Kansas, Hutchinson; Adam Wagner, You've Been Good for Kansas, Twilight Theater, Greensburg. The award plates are made by Elk Falls Pottery. We at Around Kansas want to extend our congratulations and thanks to all these folks who work so hard to keep their rural communities alive and thriving.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it, and it worked. And I'm not going to go out and dig trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. Around Kansas, brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com.
One of the great things about multi-generational farms or 4-H clubs is that it's a family affair. It's a time when parents help kids work on their projects and learn. In horse shows, for example, we know that for every kid in the ring, there's an anxious mom or dad or grandma or granddad helping outside the ring. This is a tribute to those horse show moms. Here's to the horse show mom, that loving mother who has a daughter who thinks horse shows are the thing that she should do. So her daughter starts her 4-H project with a single older horse and embarks on a path which takes her on a wondrous course. Here's to the horse show mom, who gently nags and reminds that the show's in a few weeks and her daughter shouldn't get behind. Here's to the horse show mom, who rolls out through the cactus and drives the family van to yet another practice. Here's to the horse show mom, who gathers tack and supplies in hopes that her daughter can win an elusive prize. Here's to the horse show mom, studying the rules of the show and hitching up the trailer, getting everyone ready to go. Here's to the horse show mom, who digs down in her purse to find a missing hair tie or a safety pin or worse. Here's to the horse show mom, who sits up in the bleachers commenting on the judge or the other horse's features. Here's to the horse show mom, hauling feed or carrying water while arena dust blows or as temperatures get hotter. Here's to the horse show mom, who will save to pay the debenture for the feed bill and the gas for her daughter's equine adventure. Here's to the horse show mom, who checks the pattern out and brings the snacks to share with the other moms about. Here's to the horse show mom, who has horses as her passion, who's always shopping for the latest in horse and rider fashion. Here's to the horse show mom, who calms the pre-show fears and gives a comforting hug or wipes away some tears. Here's to the horse show mom, who thanks the Lord above that her daughter has this interest in a horse to work and love. Whether winning or losing, this mother handles it with aplomb. So let's all give thanks for the horse show mom. And when the horse show's over, after a long tiring weekend, the horse show mom knows next week she'll do it all again. Happy trails.
Heinen Brothers, a fourth-generation Northeast Kansas farm family, knows how tough farming can be. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag, selling and servicing crop protection products, fertilizer, anhydrous ammonia, cover crops, quality aerial and ground application. Call today to learn about our extended term financing program. 800-760-4964. HeinenBrothersAg.com.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Around Kansas, brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. Go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter. And here we are again. So, Kansas has a lot of immigrants here that came from, a lot of them came from Germany, a lot of them from Russia, hence the red wheat, and Ireland, yeah, especially Ireland. You know.
Scotland. I mean, we really, you know, we talked about the Aberdeen, Angus. You know, the Scots bringing that. You know, we've talked about some of those, the Irish. Celtic Fox Pub, you know, thank God they came. That's
yeah. Well, and because of that, we have kind of a diverse architecture.
We do.
Eclectic, I guess you would say, as well, because you might get Irish, you might get German, you might get Scandinavian.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Lindsberg, of course.
Yeah, Wilson with the
Wamigo.
Czechs. Yeah.
So it really kind of makes it interesting. That's another reason why Kansas is so interesting, a place to visit, because you're not going to see the same thing, same thing. It's going to be an interesting trip.
It will be, you know, the flavor of the communities, literally, you know, the food, the entertainment, the architecture, you know, is what they brought over. And because most of that happened in the last half of the 19th century, not that far back.
Yeah.
Especially as it relates to architecture.
Right.
Now, one of the things I found interesting, and we're going to be talking about the Volga Germans coming to Kansas. One of my friends who is Volga German talked about growing up in the different communities and how we were talking about accents. Different communities, of course, had different dialects of German, and you could tell who was from what community because of the dialect of German that they spoke, and there was a lot of prejudice between the German communities themselves, you know, just like just the way people are, you know, and oh, you're not as good as these people because this is the way you talk, you know, which is the way they generally think about me when they hear my accent. You know, you're, just a poor cracker from the South.
Yeah, well, but a lot of that of the immigrants too, it's reflected in the churches.
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of what the story is going to be about.
And that may be the prettiest reflection of those immigrants, and it's certainly one of the most enduring, and you are going to be shocked by this segment. Few events have shaped Kansas like the immigration of the Volga Germans, those war-weary Germans who had been lured to the land along the Volga River by Russia's Catherine the Great generations earlier. For 100 years, the Volga Germans farmed and prospered, exempt from military service because Catherine had so valued their agricultural skills. When this exemption was revoked by Tsar Alexander II, they looked to America. The first group of settlers left for Topeka in 1875. Upon arrival, they were encouraged by the Kansas Pacific Railroad to settle on land owned by the railroad in Ellis and northern Rush counties. Large settlements also emerged in Russell County and North Topeka. The movement of German Russians into Kansas continued until the First World War. Besides the wheat that the farmers brought with them, the Volga Germans left another indelible mark on the landscape of Kansas and on the skyline of many small towns: the churches. St. Fidelis in Victoria is the largest and most famous of the German Catholic churches and one of the 8 wonders of Kansas. In 2014, the Pope declared the church a minor basilica. It was William Jennings Bryan, visiting in 1912, who dubbed St. Fidelis the Cathedral of the Plains. But the church was the center of other German communities as well, and while not so large, they are just as beautiful as the cathedral in Victoria. The communities of Catherine, Liebenthal, Leoville, Munger, Shinshin, many towns around Hayes are marked by the steeples of these beautiful churches. As a descendant of one of those Volga Germans remarked, these were very religious people. The church was the center of the community. Each family was required to provide so many wagonfuls of stone, which was all cut by hand. Master craftsmen were responsible for the woodwork. Stained glass windows were often imported. They resembled the churches that had been left behind, something of the homeland, something representing the hope that these new communities would truly be home for them and generations to come. They farmed, raised kids, and went to church, and in the process, transformed the plains into the breadbasket of the world. As a descendant said, they trusted in God and hard work, and the evidence of that faith remains to anchor the communities.
We have to go again, so I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And we'll see you somewhere
around
Kansas.
Gateway to Oz, under
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy Stream. We're the best part of Dorothy Stream.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agamandkansas.com.